What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to an amazing news video. There are some really cool hidden gems, some things that aren't seeing a lot. I'm showing one off that only 15 people have backed that I think actually looks pretty cool. I want to tell you about. There is some stuff I'm just now covering that has exploded. There's a sneak peek and more. So there's a lot here, including the Return of Dimension games, a whole host of stuff here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Board gaming and crowdfunding still going strong. Crazy, right? It turns out tariffs are either here or they're there, or who knows what's going on anymore. It's different today than it is tomorrow, than it was yesterday. That's fine. The campaigns have not stopped. The cool games and great creators have not stopped. And I know it's easy to talk about some of the negative experiences, but I'm here to cover some really cool looking games from some companies that I think are quite good. This is going to be a typical news video where I'm just showing you a whole bunch of crowdfunded board games, ones that are live right now, maybe some that are in preview, some that are coming up in a day or two, or maybe launching at the time that you see this video. If you see anything and it's too late, you should have subscribed to see more videos just like this. All right, let's go ahead and get to the news video. Now, I'm going to show a lot of cool things here, but I also want to talk about a cool sale for Into the AM. I'm wearing a shirt from them right now. This is actually one of my oldest shirts I have from them. As you can see, still looks fantastic, fits great, feels great, wonderful price, fantastic company, great standards, great product. They are having a Memorial Day sale, 70% off, and you can save an additional 10% using the description, or using the link in the description down below. Seriously, use that. It helps the channel out a little bit, and it helps you get an even better deal. That's 70% plus another 10% off of that remainder. That is a fantastic deal. I don't want to do the math there, but it's more than 70% off. It's a lot. They are having a huge sale. Now is the time to buy. So as you can see, they're looking at Memorial Day, and they are definitely talking about grilling, being outside, looking great, feeling great while you do it. This is definitely something that you want to pursue. Fantastic. Now that they have like denim jeans, love their jeans, really, really great feel. They even have the basic non-branded tees. They just classic. All day pants, obviously their graphic tees are a highlight of mine, though I love their button-ups as well. Fantastic. They do have some new arrivals as well. So if you want to see some of the new stuff here, they have some great new shirts here. As you saw, they have the tank top version of those too, so you can stay cool, especially for those that are already dealing with summer. It's actually a little cool and rainy here. It's springtime, but other places in the world, maybe not. Again, fantastic stuff here. And you can get these nice big bundles as well and have essentially a huge wardrobe just suddenly of some quality stuff here. So anyway, I'm not going to show everything. They have a ton. You guys know it. They've expanded a lot. I love literally everything I've ever gotten from them. And I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't use them as a sponsor if I didn't believe in what they're doing, what their mission is. And it's fantastic. Again, save a whole bunch. Memorial Day sale down in the description below. Okay. With that out of the way, let's get to some gaming. I'm going to start with some ones that are a little bit under the radar for a lot of people here. This is a unique one here. It's called AVGhost. Paranormal Investigation is the second edition, actually. So they've done this before, which is great. Anytime there's a second edition, it means you can go look at reviews for the first edition and find out if it's a good game for you or not. Anytime it's just an iteration, obviously it's typically already better and a known quantity, right? Or like a known factor. A lot of these board games, you're just taking a chance. Is it going to be good? I think it's going to be good. It looks good. Here you can actually tell, and I think that's awesome. Now, one thing that's cool about this is it actually has like this like flashlight on the minis, and then you can put little colored discs in there to like reveal or do certain abilities or stuff like that. Very thematic. The walls, I think, do really good on that too. So it like blocks line of sight and it kind of gives a little area there. They have like translucent ghost minis that look awesome. They have a stretch goal that does like glow in the dark. So you can see that as well. So that's super fun. Just looks like a really neat, unique experience, which I really dig. And the price, the ultimate edition with all of it, right? That comes with the 2 expansions, exclusive mini, stuff like that. $227, and again, there is stretch pay there as well. As low as $45.58. If you just want the regular game, you can get that for, where is it? The Evil Never Dies, upgrade to first edition. The standee version is 103, and then the miniature version is 143. So it is a little bit on the pricey side, I feel, for what you get quantity-wise. But quality-wise, with the translucent minis and the flashlight and stuff like that, I think that's actually pretty cool. They did add a whole bunch of stuff to the app. There is an app that plays like spooky sounds and junk like that. It's actually going to even be on Steam, but just know that there is an app for this that does a lot of it for you when it comes to you playing the game and experiencing it. This is definitely a game where if you are a thematic type that really wants to have a unique experience, this is probably something for you. All right, moving on from that, we have Battle Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the like movie IP, by the way. So you have like the Kong with the mechanized like arm fist thing. You have like the Monarch thing, stuff like that. This actually looks pretty cool. Over 1,500 backers, so 15 days ago, 424,500 raised, so doing quite well for restoration games here. And honestly, this looks pretty legitimate. It looks a little bit pricey, but also looks high quality, and I think that's really cool too. So you have like these boards here, and they have the dials built in, right? They have a tray slider thing right here. They have the little divots where you put the cards right here, and the pegs and stuff like that. Just very nice component quality by the looks of it. In fact, even this looks like there's like 3D tokens and whatnot. Then you have your two monsters, and then you also have the Mothra exclusive Titan. We'll cover that. And you have all your like little units and guys like this too that help support it. The history of this game is interesting, so I'll show that at the end here. But yeah, obviously table presence is really big here. So there is a pretty legitimate game here. There's actually a lot to do with like moving your units around. You get to evolve your monster. The IP, while it's based on the movie, as you can see, uses like original art, which is kind of cool. So it's not like just movie stills or something like that, which is nice. There's a rage mechanic that makes like big movie moments. Now they have two separate boxes here and then a third one, which is Mothra. So they have one with Mechagodzilla and Kong Titan, and then you have King Ghidorah and Godzilla in the other one, and then you have the Monarch or the super species, which are really fun, I think, because you get like a little turtle, magma turtle and junk like that. And then you also have the Apex and Merc troops as well. So two different factions and two different Titans in each box for a total of 4 and 4 plus Mothra, right? It's kind of your options there, and you can mix and match which ones you're doing with which is, again, kind of interesting as well. Here's a Mothra expansion that you get with them. And as you can see, they are anywhere from like 140, 50-ish to 160 millimeters tall, so quite large indeed. 16 centimeters is quite big for a mini. And yeah, that's what they're talking about, table presence, right? You have all these units here and fun stuff there, and then you have the two big Titans that are just clashing out, and they are really the highlight, while the other units are just there for support, which is interesting because it's actually based off of a game that was the opposite. Now, if you're looking at how much you want to do for the cost-wise, we'll go down here, actually. The big one, right, upgraded everything, 932 backers, $379. So again, a little pricey, though you get some really cool big minis and stuff like that too. If you want just one of them, it's 125. And then if you want both of them, but not all the upgrades, it's $299. So $299 versus $379. What are those upgrades? Well, sadly, one of the things I don't like about this is they are selling sculpted bases, which I think is just silly. I think that's kind of grubby. Nobody else is doing this in the industry. They just put the 3D bases on there. Yeah, I have to like sculpt them anyway, right? Like it's already cost there, but it's like $40, and then they're tied in with getting fancier dice and like a 3D token and some new gameplay as well, right? You have these 10 new classified file cards and junk. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. And of course, there's one for each, and they're selling for like $40 a pop, which is kind of ridiculous. Otherwise, you get the base one. Additionally, the Mothra seems to come with the base sculpted always. So if you don't get this, then you get the Mothra with the sculpted base and everybody else with a flat base. And that, again, is just kind of silly. So I think that's why this is so popular, why it's the most popular, $379, because Otherwise, it's kind of janky, right? You're missing some cards here. You don't get some upgraded tokens. Your dice aren't as nice, and only Mothra is like sculpted out of the box. I don't know why they're doing that. Again, I'll call out any company doing this. I don't agree with paying for sculpted bases. That seems silly to me, but it is what it is. The deluxe 3D resource is $20 as well, though that's kind of nice. I do like that. Though I do miss the old Kickstarter days when that would be a stretch goal, but those days are long gone. Long gone. Anyway, $125 for one of the boxes. Really what you're looking at is the big bundle, $299, where you get all of them. This is a good one. And then the mega bundle where you get the upgrades as well. Also quite nice, though again, fairly pricey, but you do get what looks to be a pretty unique game. Okay, so scrolling down here, this is the original game, Battle Monsters, that one of the guys from Restoration Games made a long time ago. And essentially, he made it as like a intro to Warhammer, but the scale, what like he wanted like all this stuff, and they didn't do this 100+ minis and a massive board or whatever. Essentially, he used like a twister mat as the game mat, but you see all these little units that you're moving around. That's the same as here with like the Monarch and the Merc and stuff like that. So that's where like that gameplay came from. And then they added the Titans and added the IP and stuff like that, because that's what Restoration Games really does. So actually kind of cool. I think that's pretty neat. Looks like a fun game, and it looks like a lot of people are going to enjoy it. All right, moving on from that, we have Pact. What an interesting game this is. Over 1,000 backers, 1,300 to be precise, so 11 days to go, and 179,000 raised. This is by Studio Midhall, so you might remember them. They're like the Beast People, and this is still in kind of the same theme, sort of. Same theme as in like art style and feel and vibe and all that. Not same theme as in gameplay. This actually looks like a really neat thing. Essentially, it's like semi-cooperative is the main one, though it does have a fully cooperative and a solo mode as well. You're essentially trying to get this that might be in a cage, running away from this, trying to get through all the districts and eventually escape at like the harbor or something like that. But meanwhile, you can go like stressed and crazy, which is kind of cool. You can also have like hidden objectives that you're trying to do, right? Like be the first one to escape, or somebody else has to die, right? The typical kind of things. But then you have this crazy thing, or one of the crazy things, chasing you about as well. And meanwhile, you have this like stamina bar that you're having to like expend to use any kind of action or ability or card or anything like that. So you're a scoundrel, right? The beast is chasing you, and you're running away with the cargo. There's one that is the real one, and the others are decoys. There's like 3 total, I believe. So these are the kind of the zones you go through, and you don't know what's leading up to it. Then you try to go to another one, and different things happen. Then they have all these other cards as well, these deeds and stuff like this that you're making. Here's where you're spinning the stamina, like that. You can go crazy and you flip your thing around. You have like rituals and stuff that you lay these spirits on to be able to do. Here are your like hidden agendas that you can do. Again, a lot of really cool aspects. This is like actually like a quite fun and thematic and interesting and unique looking game that I'm really digging. Semi-cooperative or true cooperation, and they even have a solo mode there, which is also pretty neat. The minis are, there's not a whole lot of them, but you can get more. So it starts with, just these 3 big ones, right? Plus your characters. They're unlocking another one, or I think they unlocked another one. They just don't have the sculpt yet. It's some guy. And then, of course, the cargo. Now, you can get the Nightmare box that comes with the essentially insane version of all of your characters, plus some unique cargo that matches some of the other beasts and stuff like that, which is pretty neat. So, yeah, you got the Weaver here. You got Olga. You got Eloria. And you got Lovar. You got Vermew. This is the one that they're doing the miniature of now. All right, you got Askel. You got the Bolgan frog dude thing with people coming out of his back or whatever. You got Ismeria. Just very, very cool. You can play it now online if you want. Looks pretty neat. If you look at gameplay pledges, the gameplay pledge is about $167 USD. It does come with a neoprene mat. I typically don't like that. I think gameplay should be gameplay. Neoprene mat is extra, not gameplay. So that's kind of silly there. But whatever. Also, I don't know how the neoprene mat works, I guess, because you are flipping over the thing. So I'm assuming that's still on it, and the neoprene mat's just like holds cards and junk, and has space for that. I'm not exactly sure. Otherwise, if you just want the pledge manager, it's $1. If you want the standard pledge, it's about 76 or so. And then really the all-in nightmare, which comes with like this really nice diorama. Let me go ahead and scroll to that. I'll show you. It's at like the very, very end. You got to really scroll to see this diorama. They show part of it here, but the full one you want is kind of right there. So that's the diorama you get. You can get it shaded, of course, with everything. There are sleeves and other stuff involved here. This is kind of everything, right? So, yeah, very, very cool. That's about $223. Again, not too bad, but it's because it is a fairly streamlined game. It's not like there's a whole lot of bloat or anything like that in it. I like it. It's unique. It's different. It's cool. It's got a cool vibe. I dig it. All right, next up, we have Flamecraft Duals, almost at $1 million raised, over 15,800 backers, and only 59 hours to go. So consider this your final 48-hour warning on this. This is super cheap. It's literally like $30, right? That's why they have almost 16,000 backers and have made almost $1 million, because it's cheap, right? $30 gets you the deluxe Flamecraft Duals, which again looks pretty cool. But you can also for 20 just get the basic. But as you notice, 8,000 backers getting the gameplay bundle, because they also have an expansion to the original Flamecraft one and their old promos, which is pretty cool. And then for 99, you also get some plushies, which is pretty neat as well. Really, you have these tokens here. They have different abilities and different color combinations. You're sticking them on there, trying to do your little recipes here, right? Whatever it is there. That's really it. It's actually kind of a crafty game. It's one of those games that are like really easy to kind of like understand for the most part, but then actually there's nuance in playing it, at least as far as I can tell. I've not played it personally, just kind of from looking at it and seeing some of the remarks that people have on it. So yeah, anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff here. It looks like it's quality. It looks tiny. They talk about how you can, take it and play it anywhere. I really dig stuff like that, because we do go to a cabin every now and then, and often I'm lugging a big board game there, and maybe smaller ones might work. We like to go camping sometimes. Again, same thing, a small game like this, you can kind of take with you. I think that's cool. Anyway, yeah, looks adorable, and looks like it's something that'd be kind of fun to play. All right, next up, Goat Simulator, the card game. What more can I say? Almost 1,500 backers, 57 hours to go, 75,000 raised just about. You literally get a goat plushie you get to fling, and if he lands on his butt, you get it like an extra turn or whatever, which is pretty funny. There he is right there. That's literally part of the base game. So what you're doing is you have your goats here, and you're trying to essentially dress them all from head, body, and feet. And you get different combinations of colors. That might be something you want. If you get one of all the same color, you get a bonus if you're the first one. And you're scoring based off of how many goats you can dress up, essentially. But when you lay them down, they do special abilities, as you can see. And then you also have like these karma cards you can do. And of course, they're silly, like Michael Bay, discard all cards from your hand and stuff like that. So you're doing all these kind of crazy antics as well. And again, the stuffed animal is fairly adorable. So again, if he lands on his butt, it's good. If he doesn't land on his butt, it's bad. And you can get a larger one too, actually. We go to rewards here. Again, fairly cheap, right? Approximately $23 USD here for the retail edition, where you get the little box. You can see him hanging there. Or you can get the exclusive tin in the shape of an ugly goat for $34. That comes with extra cards and stuff, Mutator Pack, Dexterity Pack, Rainbow Gear, right? Fun stuff like that. That's awesome, of course. And then you get the exclusive box edition. Comes with even more, like the neoprene mat, a larger plushie to throw, because of course. And really, that's it. That's what you're getting here. I think that's awesome. Looks like a lot of fun. I know my kids would love this game, because they loved Goat Simulator, the video game, as well. All right, we're going to keep going. I got a lot to go over here. We got Mighty Shot here. 30,000 raised, 277 backers, 17 days to go. This is, I think, their second round trying to get this funded. Obviously, according to this, it's funded. But obviously, I'd like to see a lot more backers than 277. This is kind of an interesting one, because it is there's cards and stuff, so there's tactics involved, but at the same time, you're flicking a puck on a neoprene mat, so there's like the dexterity shot there, hence the Mighty Shot. So yeah, this is kind of all the different stuff here, and then these are your little like flicking zones where you're trying to flick to the little bullseye there as well. It looks amazing. It's by the artist by, I think his name is Jin, DJIN. He does some amazing art. I have a few of his games that he's done the artwork for before, and they're all incredible. The minis here are really big, so they have like acrylic standees for like some of the like little guys, but your main champion here are like these big, beefy, amazingly sculpted, looking minis that will do really, really well. So it looks very cool in that regard. I think that's awesome. If we go down, you can see some of them here. The dexterity portion, again, I don't know if that's something you're into or not, but it's also, it's not like a whole bunch. What, $65 for all standees? And if you want the minis here, where is it? Looks like you're at about $141 right there for the Master, which is kind of the one you'd really want there. First Duel, again, a little bit cheaper at about 53 or so. But you could get the Deadeye for about 108. But most people, and I think this kind of makes sense, to get everything and get it all nice, it's about $141, right? And again, those neoprene mats look really great too. I bet that'd be awesome. It doesn't look like they're stitched. Or maybe they, no, actually it does look like they're stitched. So I lied, never mind. These are actual painted minis, and I believe that it'll end up being about this good as well. Yeah, it looks great, though. That paint job, my goodness, crazy paint job. I don't know who painted that. That's wow, that's crazy. All right, anyway, so again, I would like to see more funding there, just because obviously there is a lot that's going into this. 30,000 doesn't even cover like the steel molds really of what they would need for this. So kind of interested to see where this goes from here. Let me know your thoughts. I haven't like read through all the updates or even all the comments yet. I just know this is their second round doing it, and I know they're trying to get it funded. I think it may be the dexterity thing that's kind of like not quite hitting home with a lot of people. But I don't know. Let me know. It's kind of because most of the miniature games aren't dexterity games. Most dexterity games aren't miniature games, right? So it's a very unique combination. Exactly what crowdfunding's for. If it finds an audience, I think that's awesome. All right, next up we have Zeo Genesis Scalable Skirmish Game by Best Hobby. This one only has 2 days left to go, so your 48-hour warning here. And in fact, by the time you see this, it'll be right at about the 2-day mark. 177,000 raised, almost 1,000 backers. That's a good number. 785, and they can sell the rest, use them as replacements, stuff like that. I've covered this a few times, so I'm not going to cover it in depth here, except to say that I love the terrain, and I think the miniature design is like super cool as well. It's really chunky, and it has a lot of big names here, right? You got Andy Chambers, you got Gav Thorpe, right? You got Dan Morrison, you got Gray. That's an interesting way to say Gray. Herb. Yeah, very cool team here, I think, putting together what's probably a pretty neat game. I would think it is. The game, in fact, the rule book, and this is something that might scare some people or excite some people. It's like 144 pages. They have like a 144 page rule book and 32 page quick start guide. It's a rules heavy game is what I'm hearing from that, which is like wild. But it means there's some oomph there too, right? For some people, they love it. The scale looks great, right? The biggest ones are over 110 for the main body, but then he's got like the big old turrets and junk too. So in fact, a lot of these are already 85 millimeters, right? So quite large. They do have STLs as well, which is awesome as well. That cheapens it a little bit, which is nice. So Battle for Saber Ridge core game, physical, $150. I think that's a fair kind of like, hey, here you go. Here's the game. Here's 2 units right there, right? If you go for the core game plus 2 Zeo unit expansions, $270 for physical. If you go for all 4 expansions, you're at $379 for like everything. Now, if you were to go for the non-physical, so if you were to go digital all, it's $140. Right, so a big difference there, but you're printing everything yourself, obviously. But yeah, if you have a 3D printer, this is like a legitimate game that you can get into. That you get a lot of stuff there for that 140. I think that's pretty cool, actually. And again, I love the coloration there. Just bright colors and junk, like that's just awesome, right? These groups are really, really cool. I do dig them. All right, moving on from that, we have Wildhearts Academy, a deck building game. 15 backers. This is actually surprising to me. $3,876 raised out of 2,000 gold. Still 15 days to go. This is by a Wildhearts LLC. They've done a few other things too. I think they did like a TCG and stuff like that. This is interesting because it's very like, it looks like Pokemon, right? That kind of style, that kind of vibe of like art and stuff. You kind of see it here, right? You have like your trainer and your person essentially, right? That kind of typical pairing. Each of them has a special ability, but it's a deck building game that also has like a river mechanic, which is kind of interesting. So like when you play a card, you actually have to like put it in and then it moves stuff off, and then abilities are triggered as they're like moved off and stuff like that. And then you also have like a cubes that you're trying to essentially gain the most in an area to then score points. So again, very different from a lot of deck building games where you are gaining cards and building your deck. It's not where you're like playing all of your cards and getting energy and stuff like that. Instead, you have a lot of like abilities. As you can see, each card's kind of doing something, right? Which is, I think, an interesting way to do it. It's different. It's unique. It's got a cool theme. Again, kind of surprised at where this is. I think the only reason maybe it isn't as much is also because they just don't do a great job explaining how this game is different, if that makes sense. So either way, it looks very cool there. And another awesome thing, another cool thing here is right here. They manufacture in Minnesota. They are USA manufactured, which means, especially just as a card game, it's going to be cheap for the vast majority of people here in the US. You don't have to worry about no tariffs or nothing like that. This is free of all of that. So again, it's even like a safe back now. So that's why it's kind of interesting that it only has 15 backers. If this clicks with you, go ahead and support them. I think that's awesome. I love highlighting indies here. And I think they're doing something a little bit different. They got a unique theme that's like for the deck building. It's got deck building, but it also doesn't play just like any other deck building. It's actually quite different. Again, I think that's very cool. And again, US made. Love it. I think that's awesome. That is Wildhearts Academy. All right, next up we have Aeon's End Beyond the Breach. This still has 12 days to go, 280,000 raised from over 2,000 backers. So a great order there. They definitely got enough people. And the fact that there are still over 2,000 people backing into Aeon's End is actually quite impressive to me. I think that's pretty crazy. It's not too expensive. Just the new stuff is 115, which isn't too bad considering, as you can see, there's actually quite a bit there. But if you're wanting to get everything, well, you can kind of go to HOMM here, right? Here's 425, right? 495, 565. You just get a ton of stuff here. 7 waves of content, 8 waves of content. Just a crazy amount here. I don't think they do a good job of showing it off, right? Like, they're just showing this, but obviously there's a lot more there. They're doing the stretch goals and all that stuff. Again, they have a whole lot of add-ons. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff here, right? This game has been going on a while. There's a lot of cards to get here. If this is a game that's interesting to you, you can go in deep. They're adding a Battle 5 and Level 4 treasures with the new like legendary versions of their trinkets. And so, yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks like the people that love it are still loving it. Looks like they're adding a lot here, and it looks like they're doing well. That's awesome. That's great. All right, next up, Relic Wars, another indie game. This one has not funded yet, though it does have almost 100 backers. It's at 92 backers, so 17 days to go. Over 10,000 raised. I showed this off before. Again, I think it's really cool because it's a little bit indie. It's doing something a little bit different. You have like your like magic and stuff, but then you have like a dynamic zone that you're uncovering over time as you're going through that. It's got a cool like undead expansion thing going on here. It looks pretty neat to me. The minis are large, right? I like the idea of trying to plan, but then also having like unknowns in the battlefield. Anytime I have like a battlefield skirmish thing that isn't just like a whole bunch of minis, but it's still more board gamey, I kind of dig that. I think that's cool. So that's kind of nice. The 110 is a little like pricey for perhaps the amount of content that you get, like component wise. So the miniatures are quite big, so don't forget that. But 110 is pretty cheap for nowadays, and that's with the expansion as well. Otherwise, it's only $70, and I think $70 is awesome. It does get beat by another game here that I'm going to show at the very end. That one is $85 for a crazy amount of content, but it's a pretty safe back because it has a special circumstance. I'll talk about that here shortly. $70 though, still very good for that. I hate that they call it the basic pledge. I think it should be called a core pledge. Basic sounds, well, basic doesn't sound very appealing. Core sounds a lot better, but either way, they haven't funded yet, which is kind of unfortunate. And I'd be curious your thoughts on this as well. My main thing here is I think the campaign page isn't built very well. For instance, the includes, you get like what, 45 terrain tiles and all this other stuff, 30 tarot-sized divine intervention cards, all this stuff, but instead of showing it, they have a list. And a bulleted list just isn't as good, right? It's got all this like art in it that's like unique to them, and as far as I know, human made. I think there's a lot cool going for it. It just doesn't show it off very well, right? And so I think this is actually kind of a problem with the Kickstarter campaign more than anything else. Because otherwise, yeah, it seems pretty neat to me. All right, next up, Final Titan. I did a review of this. I'll link down to that below. It has about a day left. By the time you're seeing this, a little bit less than a day left. So last warning on this, that this will be launching here soon. So you want to get your follow because you get, I don't know, some freebie. You always get a freebie, an early bird promo there. Really, really fun game. I had a blast for this. We've actually played it even after I did the review for it, and again, had a blast. My youngest daughter ended up joining us this time. She won and had a huge amount of fun with it, like a lot. She had a good fun, even when she wasn't necessarily guaranteed to win. She pulled a win at the end, though, out of her butt, I swear. But either way, yeah, very cool. All right. So we're at the a little bit farther than the midpoint here, I think, in the video. I know I've already been talking for a while, so I am going to zoom through the rest, but I did want to show a mini. This is a game that it's a prototype, but just to show you, this is coming up. Stay tuned for this. Again, subscribe if you haven't. This prototype looks really, really cool. The actual people that you play look amazing. They have this very unique setup. I'll show that off soon. Again, more about that game coming up in a future video, so subscribe for that. All right, moving on a little bit faster here. Nexus, the card game. It's by Reds and Games. They're still doing their Nexus stuff, which is awesome. 8 days until this goes live, and it looks nice as well. It is not a TCG. You get all of the cards that you need in there, which is nice. As you see, not a TCG. That is pretty much an advertisement for most people, though I do love the style of TCGs. But then, of course, I don't like the whole random booster pack junk, right? None of us do. So either way, a lot of stuff here that you can get. All of the art looks amazing. A whole bunch of different artists have gone together to make this. It looks really cool. So yeah, more information to come. Obviously, that's coming May 27th. I'll cover it once it's live. Next up, Tekken the board game by Go On Board. As an FYI, I will be doing a review of this, so stay tuned again for that. Subscribe if you haven't. One of the things, and I haven't looked too into this yet, but one of the things that I really like is the high, mid, low block that a lot of fighting games have, that a lot of the board games don't. Now, can they streamline this? I imagine that they can. They do these kind of combo things quite well. Go On Board does. So I'm kind of interested in to see what they do to kind of get the Tekken feel in the board game. But I bet they will. They typically do pretty good with this kind of stuff. But yeah, no, these all look awesome. I think they've added a couple new ones since I've shown us. I don't remember which ones I had shown and which ones I hadn't shown yet. But they keep adding more and more, as you can see. I'll be interested to see if those glasses actually come out looking that good. Glasses are hard on minis. I bet they'll do a good job, but yes, they're even like highlighting the glasses there. That'll be interesting. Yeah, either way, all the textures, and I mean, look at those socks. Just they look really good. Obviously, these are renders, right? So the eyes like super, like look at the detail on that, right? But I imagine the minis will be good. Go On Board does good on that. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. I'll let you know more because I'll be having a review of that here as soon as I'm able to. So stay tuned for that. All right, next up, we have Black Rose Wars Revised Edition. Revised is interesting, right? So Black Rose Wars, to me, was a really good game that was a little bit too bloated for me. A lot of people didn't mind the bloat. I thought a few of the mechanics probably could have been trimmed a little bit. So a revised edition kind of makes me interested. Some of their more recent games that I have played has actually been pretty good. So I think they've improved in the game department. And Black Rose Wars was always kind of one of their like better games anyway. It was more regarded games. So how is this revised edition better? I don't know. It'll be kind of interesting to see. Either way, a lot of people did like this, so you can come into this as well. Also, they have Tenet. That's a movie that I actually really, really love. Even the soundtrack I love of Tenet. I know it's not for everybody, but I loved that movie. Obviously, this isn't based on the movie, but it does remind me of that. So that looks cool too. They got a whole bunch of stuff, and that's the main thing here is just as an FYI, you could spend quite a bit, right? This is like the third campaign for Black Rose Wars. I'm sure it's going to be a lot. All right, next up we have Heroes of Might and Magic, the card game by Archon Studios. Take my money. Card game, my goodness. Again, the art style looks amazing. Look, they're even showing off the foil. Gosh, do I want that? I'm excited. Is it a TCG? Well, I don't know. Now, is it like a legit TCG, right? That's kind of the hard part. Sometimes companies will say TCG and not really mean TCG, as in like booster packs and junk like that. So it'll be interesting to see what this ends up being, right? I'm not exactly sure. I guess we will find out. But Archon Studios been doing pretty good. Interesting that they're doing a card game now. Yeah, Q4 2025, so still a long ways off. I'm sure we'll find out. And there's already like over 14,000 people following. All right, next up, Champions of Rokugan by Monolith, the board game. Monolith, this is in the Legends of the Five Rings, which has been pre-existing for a while, but they're doing a board game on it. And again, the art looks fantastic. I love the fact that board games, this is like Shredder right here, my goodness. Are just really big on the art, the sculpts, right? All the sculpt design looks great. They're doing like the 3D terrain kind of stuff, the sculpted terrains, which look great as well. So yeah, excited to learn more about this. This is, I think, the next one for Monolith, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's coming up pretty soon here. So yeah, very interested to see more on that. Okay, next up, Spell Rift Legends by Dragori Games. This is going to be Dragori Games' next one. Spell Rift, July 2025. So they are still doing the two-tone or two plastic miniatures here. And it's still in the very similar art style of, kind of the AI-ish kind of style that Dragori Games does, as you can see here. The minis look really cool here. Now, it says what? Dynamic combat, unique hero decks, dual purpose cards. I do like that. Thematic region diversity. That should be fun, I guess. 8 of the 30 possible regions. But what the gameplay really, really is, I don't actually know quite yet, right? Right now, they're just kind of talking about it and then showing minis, right? And art. So we'll have to learn more, obviously. But definitely interesting. Dragori Games, I do like their games. Next up, we have Paradise, a Wasteland board game. A Waste Punk board game. Again, this has like no information, right? So don't know when this is coming. But if it's like a mature Fallout or something like that, I think that will be pretty cool as well. All right, moving on from that, we have, and everything's linked down in the description below, by the way. I know I'm moving fast. Sky Empire. Over 4,000 people are waiting for this one. This is one of those like 4X games, but with like frogs and newts and junk. And airships. I don't know. It's quite unique. It's quite different. I think that's pretty cool, right? So here's the different minis here. Again, very crazy design. Very unique there. The board looks really pretty. I think that looks awesome. Super cool about that. All the ships and stuff like that look fairly good for like what style of game it is, if that makes sense. Where you have these big ships and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of minis. They're all going to be fairly small, and there's going to be a lot of repeats, right? And that's kind of typical. Each like group here, it has 2 here, which is, or is that this is the front? I think this is the front and back. It just looks like 2. They're doubling it up. Cheating. Made it look bigger than it is. There's already a ton here. Again, the art and stuff looks like a lot of fun as well. So yeah, that's coming up here soon too. So yeah, looks cool. Looks different and unique, that's for sure. One of the things that, this is actually kind of funny. So if we go all the way down here. The interesting thing about this campaign is it's totally written by like a real person, and I appreciate that, right? And this one, it says, it's clear to me that there are already or soon will be two types of board game companies: those that use AI in some degree and are transparent about it, or those that lie about it. I don't like the lie portion of it. I think you're able to kind of say a thing without like the accusatory stance on that. The thing was to use AI to some degree. I think what they're talking about there is whether or not you use like the fill in Photoshop kind of thing, right? There's a lot of stuff like in digital things that will produce like use AI in that. That's not what people mean though, right? Like the AI and the use of AI when they're talking about like especially board games, they're talking about whole images, right? They're talking about like where all the text was AI or stuff like they're talking about AI slop, right? As opposed to just I used like a brush tool add-on in Blender or something like that, or in Photoshop, and it happens to be AI in the background that like like tries to figure out where the grass blur is or some junk, right? Like that's not what people are talking about. But that kind of stuff can get into your tools that you might use, and most people wouldn't call the output of that AI art because it's really a person doing it, but it's not like prompt generated AI, right? And what he's saying there is essentially, hey, he's used that and a lot of people have, which I believe. But either way, it was pretty funny. Oh, another thing that was kind of really great here is, I think it was, what did the playtesters say? And it's just, you can't make a living in board games. Wife, playtest number 1. Like, I could tell this guy is a character, and I really appreciate all that AI talk afterwards of the humanness put into the campaign. Really appreciate that. Sky Empire looks to be pretty darn unique to me. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, we're almost done here. Machina Arcana Vivarium. Now this is interesting. I backed this game. I was super excited for it. I think it looks awesome. I love the steampunk crafting of like your weapons that you get to put together. The art looks incredible. I have never played it. It's on my shelf right over there, actually, because I've always kept it because I want to play it and I just never have. They have like really great like art books and stuff like that I've looked through. I need to get to it, especially if there's another one coming up, because I need to tell you guys about it. But this is like the 4th campaign or something that they've had. They've been doing a lot of this, so it's been iterated on and just done really, really well. Right now, they're adding like a unique twist to some of the biome kind of areas and a whole bunch of minis for the first time. They were all standees, but now they're going to have like minis for everything, which is kind of cool. 62 plus monster minis and 28 plus steampunk inspired explorer miniatures. So that's really cool. And then the Vivarium expansion adds, again, these like overlay things, and you get to like play these cards on top of it to kind of see how it actually ends up being. And so there's a little bit of uniqueness now there too, right? There's a cool chapter layout stuff. So there's actually a fair bit of new stuff here. Again, the art is just awesome. I think it looks really cool. New updated game rules here as well. So just some crazy cool stuff here. And now a whole bunch of minis too, which is kind of cool. I think that's pretty neat because the art already looked really good. So yeah, it'll be cool to see what we can do to add to what we have existing and what new people are interested in this. But I think it looks pretty cool. Nanolith, Rise of the Resistance. Nanolith, again, an indie treasure as far as I'm concerned. Super duper cool. I love the style. I think the game was a lot of fun. I haven't played all of it by far, right? I'm just now getting into it now that I got another one again that's next on the list. So super cool about that. I'm excited. One of the cool things I like here is just the theme that they put around it. For instance, here they say that there's a mini game, a bike race inspired by the iconic motorcycle chase from Final Fantasy VII. I love when companies are like, hey, this is what inspired us. I wanted to do this, but in my game that I've now made, in my world, and I think I can here, and this is exactly what this is here, right? I think it's super cool. They now have awakened version of the characters, so that's really neat. They also have them on like all their like bikes and junk, which is also super cool. So, and there's like a whole nother like expansion that you can play through, like actual like story-wise, scenario-wise. So yeah, excited for this one. I hope it does really well. All right. Lastly, we have Dawn of Madness, the complete edition. This is essentially, so Dimension Games, like a miracle happened and they actually delivered all of their Wave 1. And it was massive. The amount of like just text alone, crazy. They're now done and ready to do Wave 2, and they were going to open up the Pledge Manager so you can update address, add whatever you want to do, all that kind of stuff that a lot of companies do. But instead, they actually, GameFound talked to them and were like, hey, we want to put you in a Spring Fest. So now they're on here. They'll open it up. They'll have a couple new things, but also open it up to where now your pledge can be updated through here. So it won't be through BackerKit. So that can be a little confusing. I think they already have some comments and updates on that. So you can go ahead and kind of read through that. But essentially, GameFound doesn't know what you had on BackerKit. So make sure to look at BackerKit and what you order so you don't like reorder something. But everything will come to you just fine. And everybody's getting an upgraded stuff too, which is super cool. So first of all, if you get through this, you'll actually get a Dawn of Madness GameFound 2025 like dice tray thing, which is pretty cool. Their core game that they're selling, $85, which is a crazy good deal. That's wild to me. But again, it's because it's a reprint. Like they already have everything there. It's already all paid for. They just have to click print on it again and it's there, right? So it doesn't actually cost them nearly as much anymore. So that's super cool. But then of course there's all the add-ons and stuff like that you can do as well. But yeah, the minis, just the fact that the progression, the stories, these stuff. I've gone over this a ton. You guys know, I think it's amazing. Just an incredible world, an incredible story. Amazing miniatures that are very thematic, more than almost any other game I've ever played. These minis are just incredible. Again, they tell a story, just themselves. So yeah, $89, over 350,000 words of narrative, 1,250 unsettling cards, all with like all this artwork. There's 475 pieces of unique art, 40 stretch goals in there. It's crazy how much is in there. $89, wild! What a great deal. If you're at all interested, that is again crazy to me. That's awesome. Now they are also, this is all the like new stuff that they're doing, right? Oh yeah, and again, rapid fulfillment, because they're just ready to click print. Everything is developed. They're done developing. They just literally need to click print on this, which is pretty cool. So they have story mode that's now printed. They added this afterwards because the game can be fairly challenging, and sometimes some people, because it has all this narrative, they just wanted to go through the narrative. So they made kind of a story mode that just reduces the challenge a little bit, and that's been digital, but now you'll actually have it in print, which is kind of nice as well. They have a save system, not just record sheets, but they actually have this like tray save system, which is really cool. That's nice to see. Love that. In fact, you can even play right out of the trays, which again is very cool. You can even like move around on there and stuff. Just a different way of doing it since you're storing it there anyway. Upgraded components. One of the things they did is they made it all brighter, or like I guess more colorful, as you can see the color difference here. But also everything, all the enemies now have their name on there and like a unique shape, so it's very easy to see what they are, and that matching is not as hard as before. So again, this is just a better way to do it. Also, they're adding audiobooks, which is super cool. I bet that's amazing. That'll be super cool. So yeah, there's a lot here. They also have some new stuff, which is pretty cool. So they have like all, everything again that they haven't done like for like Wave 2. That's coming, of course, as well, which is super awesome. But here's a Kickstarter update, because you'll notice this little snail guide. You're like, what the heck's that? That's new. And it doesn't even show it quite here yet, right? So let's see what's going on with that. Well, it turns out that they're adding this, the Chastener Terrors, which are this one, and this one, that are super cool. And they have a Sins of the Lost. So they have Gluttony here, and these are like the biggest minis by far in this game, which is crazy. Envy, Greed, Pride, and Sloth. So that's Sloth, which is like the nail guy. See how he's like dragging his feet, and it looks like a snail, right? And it's weighing him down. Just all that kind of stuff. Super cool. I love it. Plus, again, yeah, they're actually already printing some of this. There's a good FAQ here, right? So I'll link down to this below. Guys, My throat hurts. That is a lot. There is so many cool stuff going on right now. I'm sure I have missed something. Let me know in the comments below if I have. Again, I'm excited to show this. Probably my next unboxing. This guy, just super cool. Super cool. This is Thor, by the way. All right. Anyway, a lot of cool stuff. Into the Aeon, by the way, makes great stuff. You can get it super cheap. A crazy memorial sale going on right now where you can get all their stuff really cheap, plus an extra 10% down in the link below. Down in the via the link in the description below. I haven't been able to say that once right today. My goodness, it's been too much. All right, I got to edit this video and get this out to you guys. So I'm going to dip. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you, of course, to my patrons, YouTube members, subscribers, commenters, followers. All of you guys help make this channel possible, and I couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. It's an expensive hobby, I know, and I like to be as independent as possible, and you guys make that possible. So thank you so much for that. All right, take care, guys. Bye.